Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's meeting for the JCDA board. It looks like we have a quorum and it is now 3 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and begin with this month's speaker trainer. It's going to be Derek Scarborough. Dennis, would you like to go ahead and introduce him and then he can begin?
Real quickly, yes. It's always wonderful for me, being the son of Marshall, to introduce a fellow son of Marshall, especially this part, the greater Eastern Panhandle, West Virginia. But Derek serves the RCBI, Robert C. Byrd Institute for Advanced Manufacturing, as his business development lead and deputy director. In this role, he manages several state and federal grants and works directly with manufacturers, colleges, and government agencies on economic and workforce development projects across the state. RCBI assists entrepreneurs, innovators, small businesses, and large corporations across all sectors with prototype development, customized training, reverse engineering, quality assurance, and contracting opportunities. Fortunately, the projects and companies are so diverse that is rarely a dull day. Derek has served in the public sphere throughout his professional career. He's worked in various West Virginia state government offices, such as the governor's office, the treasurer's office, the development office, and led statewide nonprofit organizations. Derek is also a son of the Kanawha Valley. He has his bachelor's degree from Marshall University in Poli-Sci and International Affairs, and is currently pursuing a master's in leadership studies. Him and his wife, Sarah Payne, and their daughter, Willa, all live in Huntington. They enjoy skiing, camping, fishing, soccer, college football, and hiking. And like I said, it's always a great day when I can introduce a son of Marshall and a worthwhile organization like RCBI to our board. And Anna, let Derek have a share screen so he can pull up his PowerPoint, please.
Thanks, Dennis. I don't get enough of the latter part of that introduction. The fishing, skiing, hiking, football, we don't get enough of that, but nevertheless, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Can you see my screen? Okay. So Dennis and I had been talking recently, and Jim Linsmeyer, about a few companies and entrepreneurs we were working with from your neck of the woods. So I think that kind of catalyzed this desire to present to you all today, to give you a little update about what we are, what resources we have for companies of all shapes and sizes. And even though I'm in Huntington, our other main office is in Charleston, West Virginia, how those resources make sense to activate and use from across the other side of the state. So I'm going to talk you through a little bit about what we are, what we do, and give you some local examples and recent examples of things we're working on that I think will be of interest to you. So the Robert C. Byrd Institute was founded in 1990. We got funding from the Department of Defense to support companies enter the defense contracting sphere, and they set up funding to fund 6 centers around the country. And Senator Byrd, being who he was, made sure one of those was in West Virginia, and therefore we have his namesake here. And we're part of Marshall's Research Corporation. We're an independent nonprofit organization. We've got 32 employees full-time, and we've got a few locations around the state. Our main facilities are in Huntington and Charleston. And let me walk you through what some of that looks like. So what do? We try to deliver innovative solutions and leading edge technology to support manufacturers, entrepreneurship, and job creation. Everything I'm going to show you is available to Procter & Gamble. It's available to Toyota. It's available to you if you had an invention in mind. It's available to, mom and pop welding shop down the street, and everything in between. So our backbone is our technical services, what we call our engineers, machinists, and all of our leading edge manufacturing equipment. So our staff comes from industry. We are proudly part of a university, but we're more of an industry focused organization than an academic focused organization. We have over $22 million in equipment that's again available for businesses to use, and it runs the gamut. You would see a lot of latest and greatest CNC mills and lathes, water jet cutters, laser cutters, subtractive technologies, if you will, and then a whole host of the latest and greatest 3D printing technologies. The picture you see is of a very large, the largest 3D printer in West Virginia. It prints in plastic, various kinds of plastics. It's about a 3-foot cube sized print bed. And we have machines that can handle various forms of resins and carbon fiber and even metal 3D printing. And this technology has come a long way. Just in recent years, we've added a lot of tech that has high temp resiliency, high strength resiliencies, and I'm talking about plastics here even. We have food grade and medical grade materials that can be used as well. And our engineers help individuals and companies with design engineering and reverse engineering. What does that mean? So design engineering is, creating a new product, taking your idea, making a prototype out of it. Reverse engineering is a very common practice, but it's not really widely understood. It's taking a old part that may be wore out, needs rebuilt, needs re-engineered, and oftentimes blueprints don't exist for it, or the original equipment maker is long out of business. And this is a very common problem with even your well-established companies who will remain nameless, but they don't even have blueprints for some of their critical components because they got them from a supplier 30 years ago and they're gone. So we help people re-engineer those things by doing laser scans of an object that builds out a 3D computer image of that. And then you can make adjustments to it, 3D print a new one, or go machine it on a CNC mill or lathe. So let's jump right into some local connections to what we're doing. Here's a success story that's current and recent. This individual, Johnny Dyer, has founded a company called Sure Solution, and he is doing aftermarket vending machine parts. He lives in Shepherdstown, comes down to RCBI in Huntington once a month to use our laser cutter and press brake to make his metal parts. He's got about 18,000 orders a month that he's making about 18,000 units of a month. So he came down to us. We helped him re-engineer some common aftermarket parts. And because of his sales experience in the industry, he was able to go out and hustle and get contracts for folks across the DC metro area. So he comes down, reserves time on our equipment, pays the lease fee for this machinery, $75 an hour to use a laser cutter, for example. Buys his metal from various sources, wherever he can price it the lowest. They ship direct to us. He comes and our people help him use the equipment. Now to the point where he knows how to use it himself. So he learns on the job working here, learns how to use this equipment. He's also created a new device that he's in the middle of patenting. It's got a provisional patent on it, but he's going for a full patent on a new little gadget that helps keep, think of the drink coolers and things like that at gas stations or grocery stores. Those things commonly get ajar, and when they're ajar, they waste a lot of power and they drip a lot in the floor and create a slip hazard. So he's got a solution to that, and he's in the process of marketing that. But anyway, he's growing and scaling after being in this for about a year, and now I've connected him back to Dennis and Jim, and they're helping him find a site to build his own building in your county, where he's going to set up a warehouse, set up some post-production things that he wants to do. He's already purchased some equipment to do his own powder coating. So he's kind of growing up and graduating out of RCDI, but he's a very common client in the way that, he's getting his sales somewhere, either online or word of mouth. And he may have a PO box and may have a website, but doesn't have their own facility. So they use our equipment, rent time here. And in that way, we're kind of like an incubator. But that's a very common practice here. And people like him, like I say, they kind of grow, and as they scale, they can afford to get their own equipment, their own place, and grow out of us. Maybe come back later for additional services, certainly. So we would definitely consider him a success story. Show you some other examples. Start with Nate's Nets, since it's local for you. Nathaniel Arndt is a WVU engineering student from Jefferson County. He won a student design competition, and they sent him to us and asked us to help him. He's making these really beautiful custom fishing nets, custom wood carved fishing nets. And what he wanted help was some way to improve his process. It's slow, tedious, handmade work, but he was wanting to figure out how to improve that without giving up his handmade work, right? So we devised a work holding jig, a fixture that he was just using clamps and vices and things like that to hold the wood down. Wasn't good. He had to move it around, all that. So we helped him come up with a customized jig fixture. And he got awarded what's called early stage grant funding, a few $1,000s to help that work be accomplished here. And anyway, he's over the moon with it. He tells us he can quadruple his output because how it's holding his wood properly in place allows him to move around and do his work quickly and uniformly. And he's even got some attention from the governor. He's sitting there with the governor at a lake, testing out his nets. So pretty cool. Don't just think of traditional manufacturing when you think of what we can do. I have a food example here, a fun one. There's a company in Charleston, it's called the Shape Shop. They sell like low calorie, healthy food. And they came up with their own ice cream bar that was very low calorie, low fat. I don't know how they do that. It's delicious, but they were selling in about 10 Krogers when they came to us and asked for us to help them figure out how to scale their production. They had an opportunity to double the number of Kroger stores they were going to serve. So they were making these by hand, but they wanted to kind of keep their clamshell look to them. So we designed a clamshell look that mimicked their ice cream bar and used that green object, which is 3D printed. Then we took food grade silicone and we wrap that around that, pour that around that. And you'll see there's a set of 4 there in a gray box. So we made trays essentially for her. And we've made, I think, 200 of them now. And now she's supplying 97 Krogers. So probably even in your neck of the woods, she's in Kroger. So check it out, Dippy Doo. It's in a very plain cardboard box container. She likes to have an old school look to it for some reason, but it's a fun project. We're doing food molds like that for chocolatiers and candy makers all over the state that are mainly selling their stuff online, but helping them with food grade silicone and resin printed, 3D printed molds that hold up to high temp. They're flexible, so you can kind of pop the candy out and stuff. And it's really helpful for these little businesses that are doing these niche products. Because it's hard for them to go to like some big mold making operation. They can't get the time and attention that they need to get something like that developed, and can't afford it probably, but they can afford it with us. And sometimes we find grant money to support them, like we did with Nate's Nets and Shape Shop. I'll share you a couple other examples, not local for you, but just to give you an idea of some other things we do. On the left, you see a custom tool we developed with Toyota for their transmission factory in Putnam County. So Toyota, very advanced place, lots of robotics and all that, but there's still parts of their production process where it's people screwing with their fingers, and very tedious work. And they wanted to improve that. So we took one of their transmission blocks and made a 3D model of it and used that to lay out these different, see the holes on that black object of where they fit different brackets on their transmission block. So the technicians, when the transmissions come down the line, they take this thing, put it up on it, one twist, they can tighten 8 different nuts at once. So it saves time, and it also reduces a lot of repetitive stress injuries. We 3D printed this in Ultem. It's just a type of plastic that's high strength. It's stronger than aluminum, for example. And the tools hold up pretty well. We're on the second version of it now. They changed their transmission blocks, so we had to update the design. But Toyota uses us to make these. They have the same kind of 3D printing technology at their facility. It's not that they don't know they can't make this. I mean, they got all the high-tech stuff you could ever want, but it's tied up in day-to-day routine maintenance, right? So their engineers come to troubleshoot stuff with us, and they're really smart people. They know, it's not that our people are brilliant or anything, but it's a fresh set of eyes, and it's a set of eyes that are working on lots of different projects for various types of manufacturers day in and day out here at RCBI. So that fresh set of eyes helps them solve problems. So we've helped them do a lot of these custom tooling projects. And Toyota being Toyota, they calculate how much this saves them, and it saves them 111,000 seconds per month at their Buffalo factory. So they're very happy to have us make these for them. The thing on the right-hand side is really looks like a very simple object. What in the world is this little elbow joint? There is a company in Monroe County, West Virginia called Little Switzerland Water, and they can water. Yeah, you heard me right. They can water in aluminum cans because it's got a almost infinite shelf life, unlike plastic bottled water, which goes bad after a few years. So they sell to government agencies and stuff that have long-term storage in mind, and environmentally cautious consumers too. But they needed a foam gauge to make sure there wasn't foam buildup in their canning process. So the item on the left is what they went to a Canadian design engineering firm and asked them to help with this. And they found them online through one of those invent help kind of things. And for $1,400, they got one elbow joint that housed that foam gauge. So the water would flow through it and it would measure if there was any foam in the water. Well, pressures build up and whatnot, and that thing cracks all the time. And very frustrating to shut down production, super glue it, sit around and wait, and then reinstall it and wait for it to crack again, soon. So they got tired of that, and they found out about how we might be able to help. So we re-engineered that and made it out of a higher strength resin that I don't think you could break with a hammer. It's 3D printed. And that's the one on the right, of course, and it's got the foam gauge inserted into it already. And anyway, we made that for about we gave them 2 for $600, covered our costs, and they've never broken once after 2 years. So little tiny solution, but makes a big deal for a manufacturer. What else do? We do a lot of workforce development. We have career skills programs that we do with some community colleges, mostly around welding and machining. We do a lot of customized training at companies, meaning our technicians will go out and do customized training programs for companies on their site. We do apprenticeships as well. We help companies set up apprenticeship programs, so help them build out a training program to upskill new hires. And we do quality implementation. And I'll explain all this a little bit more, but over our history, we've trained over 26,000 individuals. This is kind of what I call career skills training for, individuals walking in as a student, or maybe somebody coming off of an employment office. Maybe they've gone through a layoff, things like that. They can go through these various programs we have that are 2-year associates. They are short-term, 100-hour programs. There's different options. You can earn degrees, you can earn certificates. So we're kind of flexible. And as everybody knows, there's a huge workforce shortage out there, especially in manufacturing, especially for things like welding and machining. So these people are in high demand, and we are always working to expand this training, and our students get gobbled up by companies. Customized training. So what could it look like? Good example is Northrop Grumman, usually a few times a year asks us to come up and do computer aided design software training for their new engineers that they're hiring, just to help them understand how to create parts that they're working on in the computer software, and then how to translate that to the machines on the factory floor. But it could be precision measurement stuff, blueprint reading, lots of different things that could encompass. I mentioned we do apprenticeships. These are a lot of the common skill sets we do. So we can help companies set this up. We've got the curriculum. We've helped design some of the curriculum for like robotics and 3D printing technicians, for example. We do this stuff all over the country too. Certainly our focus is West Virginia, and that's where 90% of the work happens, but we do get called in on projects all over the country. One of the fun ones is doing 3D printing training for the Navy in San Diego. They're putting 3D printing equipment on every ship nowadays, and training civilian and service men and women on how to use it. So we've been part of that now. I think we've done 3 or 4 cohorts. It's tough duty for our engineers to have to go out there and do that. I mentioned quality implementation. We do this kind of customized training too. We just recently did a project at a company in Kearneysville called Allied Defense Industries. What was that? They supply aerospace parts to various companies, and they needed to update and maintain their ISO certification. And then they get the specialized ISO, which is called AS9120 for the aerospace parts suppliers. But we do this various different kind of stuff. We help companies get this ISO certification for the first time. And if you're not familiar with ISO, it's international standards, it's industry standards. It's very critical, especially in aerospace, automotive, defense industry. Often if you're a government contractor, you need it. Often if you are exporting, you need it. So it's really a sales opportunity, going through this quality management system, documenting your processes that you use to assure quality control, helps you get this standard. And obviously companies advertise that, and it's a deal breaker for winning contracts. So it's really important and helps companies diversify and whatnot. So we've done a lot of work to, like I say, help companies obtain and maintain this. Couple more slides. Yes, sir.
Got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. I've got 2 or 3 slides that we
you.
help a lot of folks with supply chain connections. Everybody hears about this problem, and it's certainly an issue. So what do? We do old-fashioned matchmaking with companies. So we take a big company, understand what some of their supplier needs are, and help them go out and source new vendors, especially with a West Virginia focus, trying to find opportunities for small businesses to serve some of the bigger corporations in the region. So this is a free service we do, and it's just a lot of logistical organization, but we had great success creating new business relationships. I mentioned early stage funding. We get grants and whatnot from various foundations, and we sort of have like our own Shark Tank, and people pitch their idea to us, and we can award up to $10,000 on a project to help folks with design engineering or making a prototype or developing a new product. These are available for existing small businesses too. We certainly do a lot of STEM education, got to get the next generation involved. All this stuff has gone virtual over the last year, and frankly, we're going to keep some of it virtual because it opens up opportunities for people all over the place to participate. You don't have to come here in person to do a 3D printing camp or coding camp or whatever. So we get a lot of support from NASA and various foundations to do this stuff. And last but not least, just, we're here to help folks get to work. That's a picture of some of our students going through graduation. So happy to take questions. And I'll stop sharing my screen.
Hey, Derek, one thing, first and foremost, I appreciate you. And,
Sure.
I think, and I'm hopeful someone will jump in. I'm amazed and pleased. We have 3 examples, not in the Eastern Panhandle, Jefferson County, 3 companies here in our community that are utilizing the services of RCBI. And I feel I've been a value added for them. And Johnny, first example that Derek pointed to, very robust conversation about how we can help move him forward and become more efficient on his own end. So Derek, I appreciate you giving those examples, but I hope somebody has a question.
Hey, Derek, this is Sean. I just have one quick question. Do you do graduate placement for your students? Like, will you work with companies in Jefferson County that are working for machinists, CAD runners, press operators, welders?
Sure. I mean,
graduates that need placement.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly happy to promote job openings to our students. The reality, though, is they're not. Most of them are not local to your area, and most of them stay in the Huntington-Charleston area. It's hard to get skilled labor in the trades to relocate when they have a job opening. But that's why we take training out to the community and out to companies. And it doesn't have to happen on site at our facility. A company can hire entry-level people that have no machining skills and work with us to upskill them. Or perhaps they've got machinists that need to learn how to weld. We got a mobile welding trailer we can bring and do that training on site. And oftentimes there's grant money to cover that work. There's grant money through the workforce offices, through the state often, other programs we have access to. So quite often there's dollars to subsidize that training for companies. And, again, it can be very customized. It can be, 2 days a week for 3 months or just nights or, whatever. We're maybe a little too flexible sometimes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Anyone else have any questions for Derek?
I have a question.
Go ahead, James.
Thank you. Thanks, Derek, for the presentation. It's very interesting. It's good to learn more and more about what's happening at Marshall. But I just have a basic question, honestly. It's like and you may have said this and I may have missed it, but how do business people in this county know about those services you provide? You gave us good examples of some 3 or so people in this county that are receiving your services. How do others find out about it?
Well, through venues like this, hopefully through our website, rcbi.org. Happy to do a call with anyone that might have a, troubleshooting need, whether it's someone trying to start a business, got an idea for a new product, or somebody already in business that needs help diversifying or solving a supply chain problem or getting training like Sean asked about. Hope that answers your question.
Well, I guess you're saying that that's something that JCDA would be making those connections for you. Are there other organizations like the Chamber of Commerce typically do that, or how does it typically happen?
Yeah, certainly. We stay in touch with people like Jim Lenzmeyer at the development office, and they're out talking to companies all the time and sharing our information. The Small Business Development Center people, same thing. Happy to partner with your local colleges and universities as well. Just to be value added. We don't want to replicate services. There's a lot of service providers out there, but I do think many of the things we have are kind of unique. And certainly the way people can access them is unique. So it's all open policy, fee for service. We often have grants, like I said, that can help with some of the costs. Anything you work with us and develop, you retain all the intellectual property on, where, we're not doing a licensure royalty or anything like that on your design work, which is typically the case when you work with a university to help facilitate that, but that's just not our model. It's different.
Good. And Derek, thank you. We've exhausted the time allotment we have. And, I think Derek and Jim Lenzmeyer can attest, we have been pushing, promoting the efforts of RCBI here in our region, more importantly, the county. And we're seeing some successful, tangible results out of your all services for our entrepreneurs. And Derek, wouldn't be remiss if I didn't say go Herd, and bring you and Charlotte Weber and Brad Smith up for a tour one day, and we'll host you all.
Sounds great. I'd be there in a heartbeat. You guys got some great places to dine and relax at. That would be an easy sell for me.
Well, I do appreciate you, Derek.
You bet. Have a good meeting. Thank you all.
Sir,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next is going to be the 2021 audit review with Mr. Ferrari.
Yes, sir. And Chair, I think he's teed up already. I see him over in the square next to you.
Hello, all. Brian and I are here. We just want to make sure everyone has a copy or had a chance to look at the audit report that we sent out.
Yes, sir. We supplied that.
Okay. So the big thing is you guys had a clean opinion, which is the goal. We also, with you guys being a government entity, did an internal control evaluation and didn't have any findings there. The fact that, you guys are one of the few entities that actually have a compilation done, so we don't have to give you a finding for controls over preparing financial statements. But overall, it was a good year. So, standard audit language, basically just saying everything was good and we didn't have any issues. I looked and we didn't have any adjustments for the year. So that speaks to your staff and how you guys did a good job. Usually most places we have at least 5 journal entries, but with you hiring the outside accountant to do the compilation, everything was tidied up before we got there. As far as, your balance sheet goes, clearly you guys, have the land around your facility that you're selling parcels of. So your balance sheet looks very strong, even though there's some debt related to it. Strong cash balance. But the most important thing that I talked to your staff there is clearly, as far as revenue goes, most of your revenue is from the support of the county commission. So if there's anything to ever happen there with them, no longer paying payroll and giving you other money to cover other expenses, there could be some issues there. The selling of the land, you sold, I think, 3 parcels in 2021, and you only netted or made about $80,000 on them, which isn't necessarily the goal of your entity. It's really to bring in business and actually develop, which you guys are doing. But basically you use the proceeds to pay off some of the debt. But salaries was your biggest expense, and then some outside professional and legal fees, which should hopefully be cleared up in the future years. The statement of cash flows is the thing I really like to stress for entities of your size. As far as on the GAAP basis, which is, how we do profit and loss, we showed you had a loss for the year of about $50,000. But as far as your cash balance went, you actually increased it. So that's kind of a good thing for you. You had more cash at the end of the year than you started with. So if you think about it as you personally, if you end the year with more cash you started with, it was probably a pretty good year. As far as cash from operations, you lost a little bit of money, but selling the land and the big lease receivable from, I think it's TEMA, really, spearheaded you increasing your cash for the year. As far as the other things in the notes, there's nothing really that extravagant going on there. There's nothing really new. It's just basically you sold some of the land, and that was the big thing that happened, and you paid off some of the debt with it. And that's pretty much most of the stuff, the big points that we had to cover. If you guys had any questions for us, we'd be happy to try and answer them.
I'm saying, yeah, there's more detail regarding some of the long-term debt and the land development that is in the notes that you're probably familiar with, but it has more of the detailed information in there that you can kind of see what everything is talking about. But yeah, we were wanting to know if anyone had any specific questions for us regarding the audit report or while we were there for the audit.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions for the auditors? Hearing nothing, it sounds like we're good, gentlemen.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, I mean, the thing to take away is you got a pretty good operation running. You have a nice cash balance to kind of fall back onto with a strong net position. And like Nick had mentioned, no findings in the report to issue. So all in all, we had a good audit, and that's what we'd like to report to you.
Always welcome to hear good news, gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely this day and age, right?
Absolutely. Neil, quick question for procedure for you. Do we need a motion to accept the findings, or are we good?
Usually we do a motion.
Okay.
Make that.
So is there a motion to accept the auditor's findings?
Happy to do that.
Thank you, Neil. Made by Neil. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Dara. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, on to public comments. 2 minutes per individual, maximum of 10. Is there anybody interested in making a public comment this afternoon?
I would like to make one.
Diane, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to address the board. This afternoon, I'm speaking on behalf of Jefferson County Foundation and would like to address 2 issues, open meetings and water quality. We have asked repeatedly over the last 18 months that the authority follow the Open Meetings Act regarding minutes of meetings. We would like very much if the authority would publish as required by law the minutes for all JCDA meetings, including committee meetings. This will allow community members to better follow the important work of the authority. Regarding water quality, as you are aware, JCF has a water testing program designed to alert us and the community to potential water quality problems. Aluminum levels in the Elk Branch Spring have jumped from being undetectable in August to 28,400 micrograms since we started the testing in August. That last number is from October. That number shows a 7.4-fold increase since the last reported result at the same spring, and is 142 times higher than the US EPA's guideline for aluminum in drinking water, and more than 9.8 times higher than Canada's current health-based standard. We bring this to your attention because we know you are all concerned about water quality and the negative impact that poor water quality could have on future development in the county. We've also informed other local government authorities about this, and we understand that Harpers Ferry is starting to test quarterly for aluminum. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else interested in speaking this afternoon?
I would like to provide comment.
I'm sorry, I'm not seeing who that is. Stacy, is that you?
Yes.
Okay, we
Yes.
set the timer back for 2 minutes. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. My comment is about 2 topics today as well. One, when you're considering the property study proposal, I would like to ask if you could keep in mind a few things. One of those is the key concepts that our comprehensive plan addresses through the future land use map or guide, and that specifies some of the location of new development within the county. Possibly you could consider any brownfield areas that may be more suitable to be reclaimed for future industry, and that you take recent survey results into consideration along with what the county is lacking. I've heard it mentioned over time that, we don't have like food processors. So, when evaluating land, that you could consider some of these factors into what's available and what's to be developed. Our county comp plan groups the goals and the recommendations into 5 elements, which are required by West Virginia Code. And one of those is the economic development, employment, and infrastructure. As I'm speaking about the comp plan, I'd like to bring to your attention again the request from the County Commission to the Planning Commission to consider amending our comp plan to clarify or state that solar facilities are allowed in rural and residential zoning districts. Back in August of 2020, the JCDA had submitted a letter of recommendation about the installation of large-scale solar, and that included it to be a conditional use versus permitted, and that the overall amount of land is appropriate in scale and intensity. There is a public hearing coming up on December 7th, and I would encourage you guys to participate in that and reiterate the goals of the JCDA as you had before, so that they consider that in the possible amendment of our comp plan, as that does fall under economic development portions of that which you are responsible for. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else interested in speaking this afternoon? Hearing none, we're moving on. Okay, for this month, we're actually approving 2 sets of minutes. One was the abridged meeting due to the technical difficulty on the 19th. And the second is the rescheduled board minutes from the 25th to coincide to complete the meeting from the 19th. Anyone want to make a motion to accept the minutes, either individually or together?
Happy to make the motion that we approve both, Sean.
Okay, motion made to accept both sets of minutes by Neil. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Mr. Coyle. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any objections to the acceptance?
Mr. Chair, I'm going
Yes, sir.
to abstain from voting. I was not present at the October 25th meeting.
No problem, sir. Understood. Any objection to accepting the minutes? Hearing none. Motion carries to accept the minutes. On to the financials for the month. Dara?
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Okay, folks, in the meeting packet, you would have received the financial compilations from staff. So we're all aware of it. We're 1/3 of the way through our year to date on this fiscal year. So starting with the profit loss statement, which it should be your second sheet down. Up for October 2021, as you can see, at this point, we're in the negative close to $30,000, a little shy of that. Comparatively, last year, we were positive 20,000. If you look at the profit and loss budget versus actual for the fiscal year so far, that's July through October. At this point, we're negative $46,000. And it's possible the explanation for that is we haven't received our full financial allotment from the county government yet, and that will make up some of that difference. The balance sheet looks good. So I'll leave it at that, Sean.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Dara? Hearing none, can we have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I can move to accept the treasurer's report. It's Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Is there a second on the motion?
Seconded.
Seconded by Mr. Mason. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. On to number 6, committee reports. Executive committee actually had really good discussions, most, if not all of which are under new business. So we'll give that update in that section. On to agricultural and development. Michelle?
Sure. We did not meet, I guess we did not meet last month. And our meeting now is tomorrow. So I will have more to report next, but we're just eager to start working with Ryan, and we're going to be hearing from him on a short and longer term work plan. So I think that's all I have to report, and maybe Dennis will add to that during his report out.
Okay.
Don't
you,
forget the speaker for tomorrow, Michelle.
We did not, or we did?
We do have a speaker. Don't forget to mention that.
Oh, okay. Dennis, can you remind me who we have speaking tomorrow?
Sorry, Emily Monroe from the West Virginia University Extension Office. She's going to be talking about the programs and activities that her office provides the community for ag, in addition to Ryan's work plan.
Awesome. Any questions for Michelle? Okay, hearing none. Business development and marketing. Dennis, remind me, I don't believe we had a meeting last month, correct?
Did not.
Okay.
We're going to have a meeting next month. We'll cover some of the opportunities on the website in my directors, in the report from the director.
Okay. Government, legislative and affairs. James, sorry, I had a mental block.
No problem there, Sean.
Sorry, sir.
No problem. So I'm not sure if I missed the last board meeting, so I'm not sure if we talked about the governmental and legislative affairs forum with the municipalities at that meeting.
We did.
If we
I
didn't,
believe
I'll
Dennis
say
and I
something
covered
about
that
it.
for you, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, so we have nothing new to report then. Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to make a note that in the last report out for GLA, I commended the GLA committee for putting on a really positive and substantial roundtable. So kudos to you and your staff, James.
Oh, well, thanks. And thanks for being the chairing the meeting. That was it was a good a lot of people were involved in planning that. So thanks, Sean.
Strategic plans, nothing to report. Budget and finance. That's you, Dara.
At our last meeting, and is reflected in the published agenda for that meeting, we considered 3 items. The first one was the results of the audit, which the board's heard today and gone ahead and approved. So the other 2 are works in progress still. One is the extent of our insurance coverages and whether or not they're adequate. And the second was any spending policies we wanted to put into effect for purposes of guidance. Both of these items are, as I said, works in progress. The committee's working with staff and we'll report out whatever eventually develops from these. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. And just for clarity, the insurance, I believe we need to communicate with the county and balance between what we have coverage for and what they cover us for, and see if we need to fill anything in. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have coverage through a mutual risk pool of government entities in West Virginia. So there's a fair amount of coverage right now. We're looking at whether or not there are any gaps, basically, and we're trying to identify those. There may not be any, so we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Any questions for any of the committee chairs? Okay, hearing none, on to number 7, unfinished business. Dennis, is there a legal update?
No, we're just waiting update from our legal counsel on to work with the county. As you all know, the county commission agreed to cover the expenses for in the case and identified fund which to pay that from. And once we have proper paperwork, this will be moved forward, and I anticipate to close this out by December, so we don't have to talk. We will be able to move on to other endeavors.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
On to number 8, new business. 8A, computer purchases for office. Dennis?
Yes, sir. Rather quickly, at the executive committee, we did have the permission to advance a quote we have for some upgrades needed for the office for our office manager and for program manager for Anna and Krista. Like to purchase 2 laptops and additional monitor for director's office. This will allow us to have the same capabilities that new purchase you all made for incoming director last year. The mobility factor, inclement weather, if we have to have any type of shutdown and whatnot, that our staff can work remotely. So I'm hopeful that the full board would be in concurrence with the recommendation from the executive committee and allow us to move forward with Advantage Tech for the acquisition of 2 new Dell Latitudes, docking station, 2 new monitors. The price tag is $6,104.62.
Okay, thank you, sir. Motion to approve the expense?
I'll move to approve the expense.
Thank you, Dara. Is there a second? I'm sorry, who seconded? Todd, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Any objections to the purchase? Hearing none, motion carries. On to the discussion for a property study.
Yes, sir. We've had a conversation internally with staff, internally with board chair and other county leaders. We would like to get permission from the board to work with the Business Development Committee at their next upcoming meeting in December, review the draft of an RFP for a submittal to have firms bid on the opportunity to review opportunities for new industrial property for the community. And we'll have the criterion and the draft of the RFP at the next meeting. I just want to make sure everybody's in concurrence with that. We'll go over it in my director's report, but we're under 55 acres. We have 16 tracts available. The net developable left in the industrial park is 53, right at 54 acres. We met this morning with our commercial realtor, and we talked about advancing sales for the year. We have 1 contract in a pipeline, and that would take that footprint even narrower that we should be closing on in December. We made a closure for a parcel 17 last week rather, just pending an announcement from the governor's office. And this has been a long withstanding investment, but we need to move forward and look at the next sustainable tract of job creation and revenue for the community moving forward. So I hope the board just agrees. I'll see if they have any questions, and we'd have a better formulation, better overview of the draft RFP for our December meeting.
Okay, sir, so you're just looking from the board for consensus to move out with an RFP?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Okay, Todd? Dara, did you want a second? Okay, thank you, sir. Any discussion? Hearing none. Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, on to 8C. The JCDA meeting schedule for 22 has been made available. In the executive session, we had a discussion with Michelle about moving her committee to the first week of the month, which puts it prior to the exec and board meetings. Part of that is because there is such a span between her meeting and when she reports out. It is obnoxiously difficult to remember everything that was discussed. As former chair and partial chair of BD, I totally get that because mine comes after the board meetings. But with that being said, does anybody have any questions regarding the schedule for the meetings before we go on any further? Anybody need anything updated regarding to the schedule?
Chair, staff would remind Chair that we need to have discussion in relation to this about moving the full board meeting to a live session starting on January 18th, if it is so desired.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure nobody had questions on the published
Yes.
schedule before we went any further.
Yes, sir. Just a reminder.
So that does bring up the next topic. I'm thinking that it's time to go back to in-person exec and board meetings. However, I would like to recommend keeping all the committee meetings on Zoom. I wanted to get input from the board on what you guys wanted to do. If you wanted to do that, or if you wanted to stay on Zoom all the way around.
Chair, staff clarification. All committees would remain virtual, including the executive committee, as conversation we had last week.
I believe the exec and the board I had recommended we do in person,
Okay. Thank you.
only because of the importance of what they cover.
Is there a possibility, if there's a scheduling problem, to do both for someone to zoom in to an in-person meeting? Is that possible?
I know, and I think Neil might have just dropped off to go to another meeting. I know that we have done Zoom from our meeting room in the past. So I know technologically it's possible. The other option is that we change, with consent from the commission, that we change our in-person meetings down to the commission meeting room, which does have the technology readily available.
Okay, because they do that at the Charlestown City Council, and it works out pretty good. And sometimes my schedule is just whacked. So,
Correct.
I just wanted it as an option.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm bringing it up for the discussion.
So Todd, basically you're asking about a hybrid meeting for people who can't otherwise personally appear. And that seems like a reasonable request.
It does. Dennis, is there a way we can check into and see if that's available here, or if we got to go to the county?
I think we had this conversation, staff meeting Monday. We're going to see. I will say it's not a given that we have the capability to do the hybrid initiative here at our home base, but we'll have a better clarification for the December meeting.
Okay.
And that would include as well also making sure if we had permission to do that third Tuesday moving forward in January, if the other option was to go downtown to the county commission room. But I think we're going to have to look at, we have some issues here where we're at. They're going to have to be looked at. And I don't know that it is, we'll have a better answer. We'll flesh it out or another. Currently, we don't have the capability to provide what we need without some additional infrastructure updated. And I would feel it'd be cost prohibitive for us to do that, given the fact that we have access to the any dollar leverage for that, I think should be utilized elsewhere. That's staff's recommendation, if we had the capability to host elsewhere.
Okay, if we can check into that, and Michelle might remember as well as most of the board, I believe we did do a remote meeting with some of the board in the building and some online. I just don't remember how we set it up.
Sean, as I recall.
Yeah.
People could call in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we just did, we used a conference call line and people just did it by voice. The way I'm doing this for my meetings and our training at CASA is we bought something called the OWL. It's $800 and it just makes kind of this hybrid meeting possible. The video follows the camera follows the voice, and it's a really cool device if budgets allow that. This thing really helps make hybrids work well.
Michelle, is that the one where you have to have the designator controller, and as you walk around, the camera pans and follows you?
Yeah, but it just plugs into a computer, so you don't
Yeah.
do anything but plug it in, and it's super easy.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with
cool.
that. We used it at school.
Yeah, so if it's, if it's in the budget, I mean, it works really well to do hybrids, if that's the way we're gonna roll for a while.
Okay, so is there any thoughts from the board overall whether to move down to the county building or stay here for in-person meetings?
Well, the county bed is perfect for me because it's like a block away from where I am. I'm doing everything. So, yeah, that would be great for me.
I'll talk to the other side of that. It'd be great for me to stay where you're at because I'm just a couple blocks away, but it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try to make it work with whatever we decide, but hybrid meetings are kind of becoming the way of things for some of this.
Agreed. So if there's nobody that adamantly needs either one location, then Dennis, go ahead and move out and see what we need to do either way. And
Will.
report back in December.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
fair.
Michelle, are you good with your meeting date? We got you back. We got you on the first week now.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much.
Okay. And I didn't hear any other questions or concerns about the rest of the calendar. And there's really nothing to improve. So on to the director's report.
All right, we need to go back, have a motion to approve the calendar so it can be noted in the record and then posted.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Dara. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second,
I'll give it to Michelle because Todd's got his name on a lot of them. Any further discussion? No discussion. Any objection? No objection. It passes. On to the director's report.
Thank you. Last month let's run through some things rather quickly. Hold on a second. I talked to you about this earlier. We had Project Herd closed last Monday for Lot 17. We did get the release from WVEDA and from West Virginia Jobs and Infrastructure Council. Project MedShare is looking at Lot 1 in the industrial park. Our study period has sunset. We have not heard from the client. We are working with our realtor to obtain understanding of where we are. Are we moving forward with the sale, or do we need to extend the study period? We should know this by Friday, and if we have to, we'll call a board back together. But we were able, we're still working in earnest while with the county trying to obtain a building permit for TEMA for their expansion. We reached out Friday and Monday. We're going to do a follow back tomorrow. There's been a minor glitch in recording of a deed that needs to be fixed. TEMA is working on that. And we had clarification today that that is going to be able to be recorded within the next 2 weeks. So we should be able to move for the building permit for TEMA rather quickly. Staff is working with GIS from the county office to update the current mapping for the industrial park. As I told you earlier, we have 15 lots, one under consideration, leaving 16. The total buildable acreage available is 53 acres. This morning, we met with our commercial real estate rep, Chris Ross from the Milestone Group. We have some recommendations for the Business Development Committee to look at our December meeting to talk about potential increases phased in over a 6-month period for 22. That coincides with smaller footprint and increase in properties moving forward. I mean, the less properties moving forward in the county, excuse me. One thing we have been talking about, and we've been striving to move forward on, there's been a couple of vacancies on the board, namely four within the last calendar year. You'll see in your packet, we do have endorsement letters from the County Commission for John Custer, who will be taking an appointment for an unexpired term that will sunset in April 5th of 22. This is an at-large position. John has a business in an industrial park, Total Performance Fitness. Kirk Turney is a member of a labor union. He works for a commercial airline and he's a member of the pilots union. He resides in Harpers Ferry, and they both have been given letters from Jessica Carroll to County Commission's office, asked to come take their oath of office. Staff and vice chair and chair will be meeting with these two new members to do the onboarding process and discuss last year strategic plan, marketing updates, etc. So we're in the process of getting those two on board. I'm hopeful by December, but probably more realistic would be the January timeframe. Harpers Ferry has submitted a name, but they only submitted one. By code, they have to submit three. We're working with Mayor Vaughn and his team at council at Harpers Ferry to meet the needs for what the commission has asked for. And I've had long conversation with Mayor Dittmer and the town clerk, Laura, over with the town of Bolivar. They have identified a candidate, which will be taken up at the December meeting. And hopefully they'll be able to identify this individual, move them forward with potentially two other names for the county commission to consider later in December or early in January. But in a positive nature, we were able to fill the unexpired term for the at-large seat, and we were also available to meet the labor seat, which I think is fantastic. Thank the county commission staff for working with us on that. We talked about, James, Mr. Getz talked about the GLA Municipal Forum Roundtable we had a few weeks ago. Excuse me a second. One of the items that we wanted that was a takeaway was an increased presence and assistance with the Small Business Development Center. Well, we've talked about it, and hopefully we'll get Mike to be the presenter for the December meeting. Michael Boyd is now the Eastern Panhandle Small Business Development Center director. He covers 3 counties, Jefferson, Berkeley, and Morgan County. He agreed in theory with staff that we'll do 4 trainings with SBDC in the county. And the first one is slated for March 17, 2022 in Charlestown. And we're going to start working with the community leaders in Charlestown to help plan what that is. And we're going to give those what the training is, how it'll be formatted, what have you. But we're going to give that same opportunity to Ranson, to Shepherdstown, and work jointly with Harpers Ferry and Bolivar. So we'll be offering 4 trainings over the period of next year in 22 with SBDC. And that's one of those takeaways we had from the municipal roundtable. We got a marketing update. We're going to show you Chris is going to work with us, show us a preview of a video while we were in our meeting. Got a couple of final touches to do on some emails for the mapping for the industrial park as far as infrastructure is concerned. Staff has approved, we have approved the homepage design, the subsequent pages design. We've reviewed 4 companion videos, which will show you one. It's a testimonial from a business owner, in the community and why they've chosen to stay here, grow here, and flourish here in Jefferson. And we hope to potentially December have the website ready to unveil in a format to BDM, the Business Development Committee, and we're going to go full live in January, but we were behind schedule, and now we're right on par where we should be. Let me go through a couple more things before we pull the video up. Just give you kind of staff updates. Anna, been here a month, calendar month. She still wants to come to work every day. I'm surprised she's still here. We sunset on Friday. She comes back to work on Monday. So we haven't run her out of the door yet, but she's catching on rather quickly, doing very well. I have the video. Yeah, sorry. We've got video fatigue. I'm sorry about that. We had a business retention class today that Krista was setting in on, talking about developing a marketing plan and a external communication initiative, encompassing that with BRE visits. And I'm looking forward to that one rolling in January. Ryan Schneider, we talked about Ryan earlier. He has met with ag leaders around the region in Virginia and Maryland, had some conversations about some items, learning the best practices, what he can glean. He will be presenting his work plan tomorrow to the Ag Committee, and I'm real excited about, reviewed it a couple of times, made some revisions, but we worked together as a team on it, and I think you all are going to be impressed with short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And, we talked about some staff assignments we were going to move up. We're going to have the full staff will be working on the board meeting and the EZEC meeting. On GLA and budget and finance is going to be the director, and Anna will be staffing that for needs. BDM is going to be program manager, and the office manager, that'll be Krista and Anna on that initiative. And then Ryan and Anna will be staffing the ag meetings, and we'll start all of this in January. And that's all I have, but I am eager and excited to tee up a video for you. Let me pull this back up here. Daggone it. I don't like all this multiple stuff. Here we go. And Krista, let's play the video, and then you talk about why our team picked this video and how we are excited to share this with the community. Now, this is a preview. This is a full minute, 38 seconds running time, but it's kind of like Spider-Man, No Way Home. The preview is launching December 17th. This is kind of a prelude into our accompanying videos and the marketing message we're going to be pushing forward starting in January 22.
A old school planing mill.
Here we go. All right.
My name is Amanda McDaniel, and I am co-owner of Shenandoah Planing Mill. We are a old school planing mill that specializes in hardwood floors, custom trims, high-end moldings, live edge slabs, and dimensional lumber. We found Jefferson County to be a very hospitable place to start a business. This was our first business venture, and from the very beginning when we were developing a marketing plan and a business plan and strategy, they were there with us all along the way, helping us to get funding, helping us to find resources that were available to manufacturers like us. What I would tell a business that's thinking about setting up in Jefferson County is that this is an area that has resources, it has access to transit, it has good people that are willing to work. There's talented businesses that are willing to work with you.
Don't you love internet gremlins?
We do a lot of collaboration with other local businesses, and that has been a huge boon to what we do. There's a lot of resources here that are readily available, and access to them can easily be found through collaboration with the JCDA. I grew up in Jefferson County, and now I'm raising my kids in Jefferson County. I left for a little while to go to school, and I came back because I love it here so much. And I've built my business here intentionally because it's a great environment for business and for my family. My children go to great schools, and I can work 15 minutes from home. It's really been a very supportive environment for me to start a business, be a working mom. It's all right here in the same place, very, very close by.
So Krista, talk to us about message branding and why we chose Amanda's video, Shenandoah.
Well, we were just excited when these testimonials started to come in. We think the quality is top notch. When you see the interview and the B-roll footage, the music, when you put it all together, along with the messages, we're just really excited about launching the new website. So we chose Amanda to show you guys because she hit all the marks of what we feel, Jefferson County represents. So we just thought, she was she was eloquent. She encompassed everything that we wanted to put forward. So we were really excited to show you Amanda's testimonial. They're all great though.
It is. I hope they have lots of questions. And you could hear it this time.
Any
I hope-
questions for staff regarding what we just saw?
I'm looking forward to seeing the completed project. It looks good so far. It looks good, Krista.
We worked really hard those days that Marketing Alliance was here to really capture what Jefferson County is about. So it is exciting. I hope you guys are as excited as we are.
Krista, just a reminder, I believe they were filming what, 3-4 days?
Yeah, 4 days. And then we actually went back and did some additional filming at James Rumsey and Washington High School and Wright Denny.
Okay, and then we also got like the equestrian farms.
Yeah.
We got agricultural, we got
Housing.
industrial. Yeah, that was a busy week. Okay, any other questions for Krista? Okay, hearing none. Dennis, anything else for director's report?
No, if anybody's got any questions, I'm trying to be concise, move it down the field. So
And I guess I forgot to say that. Any questions for Dennis on his report? Hearing none, on to member comments. Any comments from the membership? Hearing none, any motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Greg. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Todd. Any discussion? No discussion? Any objections? No objections. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Good seeing everybody.
Thank you
again.
all.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, folks.